In this video, we're going to be breaking down how to gain confidence. But to do that, we're going to look at what actually blocks confidence, because having confidence is actually natural within a person. When we're being ourselves, when we're being authentic, we're going to be naturally confident. So to become confident, to look at what creates confidence, we actually have to look at what blocks it. What blocks confidence within a person? Now, when I grew up, I was really confident as a kid. I played sport, I was quite successful, and I had a lot of confidence. However, on closer inspection, it was actually fake confidence. And we're going to break that down a little bit in this video too. The reason I know it was fake confidence because fast forward into my mid to late 30s, and my self-belief was so low, I was scared to post on social media. I was even scared to leave the house at times because I felt so fearful of other people's judgment and criticism. Now, from someone who was in the military, was a successful athlete, to get to that point of not wanting to post on social media due to fear of criticism, to not wanting to leave the house due to other people's opinions or criticism, and the fact that if I was criticized, it would press right on my wound of shame and not feeling good enough. So I've experienced both sides, all sides, three sides you could say. Fake confidence, which is where my life started when I was successful and an athlete and things. No confidence, which is when my life fell to pieces and provided evidence for me to feel not good enough. But then true confidence, which is what I want to talk about in this video. So if you enjoy it, please like the video and then subscribe to the channel as I go through what I call forensic psychology, breaking down how we become the people we are and also how to overcome any patterns of behavior, which is what this is, so that we can live the most authentic and inspiring life. So when it comes to a lack of confidence, there are two cycles, two patterns that I want to share with you which might start to shed some light on how confidence works. So what will tend to happen is a person will have a specific result occurring in their life. Now, when we're young, when we're children, we're not really that in control of the results in our lives. We grow up in a certain environment with a certain family, with a certain school and a certain peer group, and almost through luck of the draw, we're going to either have some kind of confidence through success or maybe being supported by our parents in some way, or we're going to have a lack of confidence because of our peer group, maybe bullying, our parents not having the time for us, whatever it might be. There's going to be some result. And these results can then lead to our self-belief either being elevated or depressed. And so we're going to go through both scenarios. If we have an elevated self-belief, I'm going to use some acronyms here, elevated self-belief, that's what it stands for, elevated self-belief, then what that means is we essentially believe in ourselves and we're going to have energy, we're going to have a sense of pride within ourselves, and we're going to put energy into the things we do, believing in ourselves that we're going to succeed. So we put in high energy. That's a Y. And because of that high energy we put into the things we're doing, whatever they might be, there is a higher chance of success. So I'm just going to write success. And what that does, that then reaffirms the result and the whole cycle starts over again. So you can imagine someone who, for whatever reason, was blessed to be supported in childhood and gain self-belief, a little bit of pride in themselves early on in life. So their self-belief is slightly elevated. From there, they're actually going to believe that whatever they set out to do, they can achieve. So they've got a higher amount of energy. From there is a higher likelihood of them succeeding because they believe in it, they've got the energy, they put it in, and they attain some kind of success. That success then triggers in their mind, positive result, again, elevated self-belief, and the cycle continues. And this is what turns someone into a high performer or a high achiever or someone who has a lot of success in their life. Now, if the result, let's go with a different color here. I'm actually going to go with purple. Don't ask me why I'm choosing these colors. They're just the colors I'm choosing. Now, if someone's result led to them having a depressed, I'm not talking about depression, I'm just saying depressed self-belief. for whatever reason, they didn't feel supported when they were younger. They weren't the first pick in the sports team, whatever it was, there is something in the past that has created this result and then a depressed self-belief. From there, a person's not really going to have any intensity with their endeavors. In fact, they might even not know what they want because they're so scared of failing and having the same sort of cycle, negative cycle play out. So they have low energy when it comes to going after their dreams, their drive to achieve anything. And because they have low energy, they have low self-belief, I'm going to use the word failure. Really, it is just a lesser degree of success. They're kind of both the same thing, but different degrees. Well, they are. And then what that does is that reaffirms the result. And again, they are affirmed in their mind, I'm not good enough, low energy, more failures, and it goes around in a cycle. So you can see that by having a look at this, really we can build our self-belief and our pride through the top cycle, or we can build our lack of self-belief and our shame through the bottom cycle. My question for you is, number one, where does it all begin? Well, you might say that it all begins here, which to a degree, especially early in life, is out of our hands, out of our control to some degree. But my next question is the one that should empower you. Where does it all change? Where can we make the change? So, self-belief, whether it's elevated or depressed, is a reflection of past experiences. And to dive deeper into this, we're going to have a look at the pattern model. Now, if you're familiar with my work, you'll know this model. If you're not, I want you to, there's a link below this completely free course. It's going to take you through, it's a course called Discover Your Authentic Self, and it will explain what everything in here means in greater detail. So, bringing this down into the pattern model, if our past experiences have been negative, which I'll put here, I'll do a little square, okay. Then we're going to have depressed self-belief. Negative past experiences lead to depressed self-belief. And then what happens is we carry that with us and we actually believe it's who we are. So we then, despite those past events, we carry it now in the present moment. So we have depressed self-belief right now. It's not good enough. It feels like not good enough in the present moment. But that's because of past events. And what we then do, because we feel small, we don't feel good enough, we project that onto the future in the form of fear. So these are our thoughts and these are our feelings. So because of the past, we have a certain amount of shame within us, which sits here. That shame we feel in the present moment as not being worthy, not being good enough, lack of self-belief, lack of confidence. We then project that onto the future in the form of fear. This is where fear sits. So this is the pattern of someone who has low self-belief. The action we take then is out of, I'm going to write fear here. It's fear that controls us. So we're in the red. And we seek safety or certainty. Safety and certainty. So this is the pattern of somebody that really has low self-confidence, low self-belief. And we can reverse engineer it and discover that all of our fears, if people have fear of the future, fear of doing things, fear of following their dreams, what they're going to do is they're going to cling to safety and security. But let's go back a step. Where does that, because fear is, they're looking at the future with fear. And so that controls them, that controls their actions. Take that a step back and go, well, why? Why is this person fearful of the future? It's really because they don't believe in themselves. They don't have confidence. And so this is the future, that's the fear. This is the present, that is the low self-belief now that I'm not good enough that sits within a person. But we have to track that back to its root, to its cause, and go all the way back to here. And so what we can do if we want to start having more elevated self-belief, which is up here, is understand our patterns and how they play out, but then go back and look at those events in the past that created these results, which led to the depressed self-belief. Now, I want to say something that might put you in a state of conflict, but that's okay because I want to challenge you and help you grow. This creates depressed self-belief, which isn't true self-belief. This creates elevated self-belief, which is also not true self-belief. So anytime we are experiencing things in the outside world that validate us, we're looking at a result and saying, I am good enough, I do have self-belief because of this past result, or this past result, which when it becomes in the past, we're using external evidence to validate our worthiness and our level of self-belief and our level of confidence. So this is false self-belief. This is also false self-belief. True self-belief comes when you no longer need the outside world to validate you. You no longer rely on past experiences to prove whether you're good enough or not good enough. So both of these can be equally damaging to a person and their endeavors in life. Neither are truly a person being authentic and truly confident. So that is going to wrap up this video when it comes to confidence and understanding the patterns of confidence and also how to overcome them. It is about discovering the events in the past which have pushed or depressed your self-belief down, going back at looking at them, and then uncovering the truth about them so that we essentially nullify those past experiences. Because we've just made a belief up in our mind that we're not good enough based on something in the past, when the truth is that there will also be evidence in your past that you are good enough. And when you have an equal balance between these two things, once you become fully conscious and fully aware, then you'll have true self-belief and true confidence. Quite often, elevated self-belief is actually an overcompensation for someone with depressed self-belief. So they try and overdo it and they build this fake confidence so that they can prove themselves worthy. Neither of them are true, neither of them are authentic. Like I said, if you want to learn more about this work and about how it all works and how forensic psychology works and how to become more authentic, there's a link below. It's completely free. Go through the Discover Your Authentic Self online course. Also, if you have any patterns of behavior which you would like to understand in greater detail, please just drop in the comment section and I will gladly take on your comments and break down any patterns of behavior you would like to understand at a deeper, more in-depth level, diving into psychology, thoughts, feelings, and how our lives are controlled by our patterns.